If you're like me, then you've got lots of random tech stuff just lying around the house from various tech projects and cool ideas that you've had over the years that you might need just maybe someday in the future. If that's not you, then I've made this video so you don't have to buy all those things to try them out. Building and reviewing computers is a lot of fun, can be very educational at times, and is very likely going to be the main focus of this channel. But tech is not always about DIYing the best and most efficient setups. A lot of times, you just need something quick and easy to get a task done, add some convenience to your setup, or simply clean up your desk. Or maybe you're just a bit curious about tech and want something cool to make your life just a little bit easier. That being said, there are a lot of things to look at, and it is pretty easy to get lost in a sea of products and their knockoffs, which is why we're here today. This is the start of a series that I'm going to call Not Your Father's Tech, in which I'm going to briefly showcase a few pieces of technology that I have come across that you may find interesting or useful. Real quick, if you're interested in any of the items featured today, you can find links to their Amazon listings in the video description below. Before we look at the items for this episode, let's go through some ground rules for the series. First, the items must be tech or tech adjacent, meaning I won't be looking at your garden variety of window cleaners or paper towels, but I may look at things like cable management hooks and phone holders for your car. This is a tech channel, and let's keep it that way. Second, the items must be reasonable to purchase. This is in regards to both price and accessibility of purchase. No item can truly be useful to you if you either can't afford it or you can't easily purchase it. So in this series, we'll be sticking to items that are inexpensive and you can easily buy online or at a local store. The third rule probably goes without saying, but the items must be interesting. No one cares about your bog standard phone case, but a phone case that can protect your phone through a game of phone soccer is kind of cool, so we'll definitely be looking at things like that. Moving on to the items, we first have the Anker Soundcore Flare. This is a great Bluetooth speaker with an adequate sound profile, although it can be a little bassy at times. It can get very loud if you really want to crank it, and the battery life isn't too shabby either, lasting me upwards of 10 hours on a single charge. Plus, hello, gamers, it has RGB lights. Who doesn't love that? For real though, the box comes with a speaker, obviously, a micro USB cable to charge it, and plenty of documentation to lull you to sleep. The top of the speaker features a play pause button in the middle. On the sides you have volume up and down buttons. You have a button to toggle the bass boost on and off, and then you have a lighting button that cycles through a few preset lighting options. On the front of the speaker, or I guess the back, but either way you have a Bluetooth button to connect to Bluetooth. You have a power button to turn on and off the speaker. Then under this cover you have a 3.5mm audio jack, if you really want to go that route. And you also have a micro USB port for charging. Connecting the speaker to your phone is really easy, and Anker has plenty of documentation for that, so I won't go through that here. I got the speaker for $60 on sale, normally going for $70, although this model, the first gen of the Soundcore Flare, is no longer being sold, and has been replaced with the Flare 2 and the Soundcore Flare Mini, going for $70 and $45 respectively. If they're anything similar to the first gen Soundcore Flare, then they will definitely be a great value to add to your travel kit. Wait, what year is it? 2020? That can't be right. Well, it is in fact 2020, but occasionally you might run into a situation where you need to read from, or, God forbid, write to an optical disc. Thankfully, these have mostly gone the way of the dodo bird, with PC manufacturers not even including drives in their systems, because they're so slow, unreliable, and the specs were just kind of confusing with CDRW plus power minus, whatever it was. But what if you do end up needing to rip a movie off of a DVD? Well, then I would just grab a USB disk drive that you can plug in when you need to do the reading, and then quickly store it away to clean up your desk space. These things are usually pretty easy to use. Assuming you got a USB disk drive, you can simply plug it in, wait for any drivers to install, and then you can use it just like any other optical drive. I myself have this Dell USB disk drive that I got off of Amazon for $40, although now it's going for $30, so that's a little disappointing. And for that price, if you deal with CDs or DVDs somewhat frequently, this won't be a bad thing to have around. Although pricing may differ if you need a different spec drive. If you really need one, this is, in my opinion, a better solution than picking out a PC specifically with an integrated disk drive. Trust me, I've seen this type of buying before, and believe me, It's not pretty. Have you ever needed to connect a room in your house to your network, but don't have a good way to run Ethernet cables to that room? If your house is like my last house, then it probably has coax cables run through the house, which you can utilize with these Mocha adapters to extend your network. Basically, all you need to do is plug your existing network using an Ethernet cable into one of the Mocha adapters, then using a coax cable, plug the Mocha adapter into the wall. Then in your other room, you just plug the wall into the Mocha adapter, and then you can use the Ethernet port on this device to connect to your computer or some other device in your room. And you'll also want to make sure that it does have power. The kit that I got came with 2 of these adapters and 2 power supplies, and very sparse documentation on how to get this thing set up. I spent $100 on this kit, but unfortunately it's no longer being sold. But there are plenty of other similar adapters being sold, and I have a link to recommended adapters in the description below. But either way, in my opinion, these are really worth the money if you don't have the time or the knowledge to run Ethernet cable through the walls of your house. Hey there, this is Future Greg popping in for a quick update. It turns out I missed the obvious, and Kiwi Broadband now have an updated version of these Mocha adapters. They support 2.5 gigabit Ethernet and are black now, so that's kind of cool. Unfortunately though, this new set is $10 more than the ones I purchased, but that's not a huge price increase, and considering you can get up to 2.5 times more bandwidth with these, I think it about evens out. You'll find the link to these new ones in the video description, and now let's get back to the rest of the video. So I only planned on doing the previous 3 items for this video, but I figured I would give an honorable mention to this Prime branded outlet cover, which plugs into a 3-prong outlet and gives you 6 total outlets and 2 USB ports for charging. Really, it's nothing that special, it's just a surge protector power strip, and really when you want a power strip you'll want one with a cord for some length. But if you don't need the length and you want something a little nicer looking, for $20 you really can't go wrong with this. Also, I do think it's a little funny that they advertise this as being used as a shelf for a phone. Oh, and look at this. There are little lights for the USB ports that show if they're in use or not. Green means the port is in standby, and red means whatever is plugged in is drawing power, i.e. charging. Neat. That is all that I have in store today, and once again, you can find links to the listings for the items featured in the video description. Keep your eyes peeled for future episodes of Not Your Father's Tech, where I'll be featuring more cool things like the ones featured today.